Hi everyone, I'm Trishann Williams. This is my brother James, and we're back at Barnes & Noble.
Yes, after several weeks of vacation.
It's been a while since we've been gone, and we have a normal back to our, what have I read, what am I reading? And so I was telling James that because we've done a couple of special reviews lately, I had to get back in. I've read a bunch of books, and I narrowed it down to talk about it. I kind of was looking at this like my boys are getting ready to go back to school, and for me this is the end of the summer. I know for some people it's not, it's still summer, but for me it's kind of the end of the summer, so I was winding it down. So I was going to review one of the last summer books that I read. I have a couple more, but one of the last ones, and then kind of give you an idea of like what I liked this summer.
Okay.
What do you think? Perfect.
Love it.
Okay. So the book I'm going to talk about is Susan Mallery, For Love of Summer. I think it's a summer read. I liked it, but it is a little misleading because summer is someone's name, so you think it's for love of the season, but it's really not. Summer is a person. This book just came out this year. It's new from her. I read a lot of her books. I like them. I think she's a good writer. I liked this one even better than a lot. I thought it was good. But here's the little blurb on it.
You liked it better than the women?
Really? You want to do that? Because we could do a whole... As the owner of Twisted, Seattle's best salon, Erica knows that the sharpest cuts come from the people we love. She's terrified that she's losing her teen daughter, Summer, to her other family, especially her stepmom, Allison. All it takes to blow up Allison's happy life is one collect call from prison. Her beloved husband, Peter, who's not a nice person, has been arrested, leaving Allison pregnant, broke, scared, and alone with a toddler.
Oh my, what did he do?
Money laundering. And also threatening a police officer.
Oh, okay.
But when her stepdaughter ferrets out the truth, the teen rushes to the last person Allison wants for help, her husband's ex. So it's two women. It's Allison and Erica, both married to the same man, not at the same time. Two very different women. Erica's, strong, self-made. She was kind of the boss in the relationship, which is why it failed. And then Allison, who's starts off weaker. Her husband's taking care of her. She's pregnant. All she wants to do is be a stay-at-home mom. And then the two women have to work together. And Summer is the daughter. And really, her character is like they make her kind of focal. She's kind of the person that's pulling those two women together. And it's not that realistic for a 16-year-old to be as mature as Summer is. But it's fine. It didn't bother me. So it's these two women and how they become friends, and they have to come from two really different parts. The really strong woman and the really dependent woman, and they kind of have to each face their own weaknesses, face their own fears, and come out stronger. It's a little cliche. I liked it. I thought it was good. It was a good summer read. It made me feel good. I didn't have any problem with it. I thought it was super interesting.
Interesting that you say that it didn't bother you, but the 16-year-old was a little more mature. I read a book a year ago or so, 9 months, called The Last Animal, and about a mom bringing her two daughters, 12 and 14 years old, to Siberia to search for woolly mammoths. And the two daughters, they're 12 and 14, but no, I would have pegged them as like 17 and 19.
Yeah.
They do find the woolly mammoth frozen and bring it back to life. So.
Okay.
It's a good book.
See, I'm not going to read that book.
It was more mother-daughter relationships.
I mean, I like
was,
that, but
yeah,
I'm not going to read that book.
That was called The Last Animal, if you're interested.
Okay.
All
right.
Okay, so I wanted to do a little local reading here, so I read a book. Actually, I reread. I read this one a couple years back, but I'm read it again. It's called The Captured. This book is about the first German immigrants in America, right here in the Hill Country.
Yep.
I mean, this place references, Austin and San Antonio and Fredericksburg and San Saba and all these places, how their children were abducted by Comanche and Apache Indians. Anywhere between 8 years old to 15 years old, some of these kids, and how they were incorporated into the tribes. And I don't think he says Indians, but I don't think it's appropriate to say Native Americans. But how they were actually incorporated to the point where they actually went on raiding parties and raided these settlements. But another interesting, and it was also, it's very brutal. I mean, the Indian Wars, Austin right here where we're sitting right now was basically the frontier, the West, they have all a series of forts and people, had to be protected going from basically here to California. Everything east of us was, civilized America. But it was also right at the end of the 1870s, 1875, somewhere in there. And it was the Trail of Tears. And so a lot of tribes were being moved to Oklahoma, to the Indian Territory. So it covered a lot of that too, heartbreaking. And the upshot of it was that he focuses on 5 different people who were abducted. And all of them, when they got released or rescued, to a T, none of them could readapt back to basically white pioneer lifestyles, and all they could really do the rest of their lives was perform in circuses, dress up as Indians with the feathers and bow and arrows, and just be in the sideshows. Really, really fascinating book, and especially if you like the history of Central Texas here. So that was one that I just recently reread.
I like it. I feel like I'll have to go back and look, but I read a fiction book that was the fiction tale of that
Based
story.
on that? Okay.
Yeah, and it was local, and it was about like a boy who gets abducted by the Indians, and he's raised by them, and then somehow he goes back to his village.
That is Quanah Parker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's who that. And
Okay,
he wasn't in this, but I mean, they mentioned his name, but he was he was a white abductee, and he actually rose to become chief of a tribe. The only white person to ever do that. So.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, interesting. Okay. So.
Do you have a announcement to make about anything, or do you want to do that later?
Oh, well. So one of our we'll do it later too. But one of our next reviews needs to be the review of 2 Crimson Smiles, which is out now. It's funny. I got my ebook copy, and I started to read it, and then I kind of got I was like, it's weird. It feels weird to read my own stuff. So I turned it off.
Okay.
I haven't got my hard copies yet, though. I ordered them. So
I just checked. Mine has shipped.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, but it might even be there now.
Okay. So when you get yours, we'll do a special review of it.
Absolutely.
So 2 Crimson Smiles, wherever you can. It's funny. I got the list on the.
We'll have to get somebody else though. You can't review your own.
No,
book.
I know. Maybe.
We'll get Logan.
No, he can't read it. He can't read it. It's a grown-up.
That right there is a good recommendation.
So
I'm not going to let my 13-year-old child read it.
But it's kind of interesting because it's like, Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Like, it was kind of fun to see the list of places you can get it. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so I was just going to summarize. Even though I have 2 more summer reads, I'm going to read a book called The Summer of Yes by Courtney Walsh, and I'm going to read One Italian Summer. I don't know about that one, but by Rebecca Serle.
Yeah, that's a relatively newer one too.
Yeah, they're new.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to turn around. I don't know why.
Kevin Kwan, by the way, did the come on, the
Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians.
No, I know. That's why I have him on here, because I loved Crazy Rich Asians. I love that whole series, but then I read one of his other standalones. I didn't like it, so I've had this in my cart for a while. It's not that new. Well, it's pretty new. I mean, it's new from May.
I think that might have been his newest one.
It is his newest one, but I've had it in my cart, in my library for a while. I just haven't read it yet. And so I'm going to let you do what you're reading, but I'm going to summarize my summer with a list of some of the favorites that I read this summer, and I read a lot. That doesn't mean that other things that I didn't mention I didn't like, but like some of the ones that stood out to me, if you're still in August and you get to have some more summer, Elin Hildebrand, Swan Song, easy. Christina Lauren, The Paradise Problem.
Oh, I bet that was good.
It was good. Claire Pooley, How to Age Disgracefully. It's kind of a fun one.
You already read that one?
No, these are all ones I've already read.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Abby Jimenez, Just for Summer. Nora Roberts, Mind Games. That's the only one that's not a fun one. Emily Henry, Funny Story. And my favorite, I think, for a summer read was Sarah Adams, The Rule Book. And so all of those I've reviewed in the past. But that's my list.
Okay. That's a good list.
There you go.
There is a pretty common theme in there.
There's a common theme in there.
Well, when was the last time you read a book by a male author?
I read that Eruption.
Okay.
I read Camino Wins.
Okay.
I I got Kevin on my list here, Kevin Kwan.
You got Kevin Kwan on your list. Okay.
I'm not.
Okay,
But
good.
I mean, the summer.
And
is,
I'm not even.
like the summer
I'm
is
just
the
genuinely curious.
season for female authors. It is.
Working here in the bookstore, I find it all the time. I just want to book by a female.
Oh, I
And
know.
I had somebody come in not that long ago, like, all your adventure or not mystery thriller, sci-fi fantasy books, they're all done by women these days.
Oh.
There's just a lot
Women.
of sex and all that kind
Women
of stuff.
writers.
And I'm like, well, you know, that's what people are buying. I like them. So,
That's fun. All right, what are you going to read next?
okay, so I am currently in the process of reading this one right now. It's called Masters of Death. This, surprisingly for me, was a very funny book. Or it is a very funny
It
book.
doesn't
I'm literally
sound
like 52
You like the books
somewhere.
with the color.
Yeah, they're catchy.
Yeah.
Well, that's also all the new stuff coming out.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like that. But this book is narrated by Death, and Death starts off the story by telling. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a story, and you can judge if you want to. But I'm going to tell you the story of how I became the godfather of a mortal clairvoyant man.
Oh,
I went to go collect his father, who was going to die.
okay.
And I got there, and the mother actually died. I wasn't aware that she was going to, but she died as well, so I'm left with this 6-month-old baby. Couldn't just leave him there, so I tried to give him to a Reaper, and the Reaper didn't want him. Tried to give him to an Archangel, Gabriel. Gabriel didn't want him, so I ended up keeping him, and now he's my godson. So,
Wow.
and again, it's funny, but the premise is that there is a vampire. She's a real estate agent. She's trying to
Of course she
sell.
is.
She's trying to sell the richest family in Chicago, the Parkers. The son has recently died, so now she's trying to sell the mansion, but the ghost of the son is still there, and he doesn't want her to sell the mansion. I'm seeing the beginnings of a relationship between a ghost who can't leave the mansion but doesn't want it sold, so he keeps flickering lights every time she's trying to show the house.
Okay.
But she's also in this group, this club of a demon.
Okay.
There's a werewolf who's the leader of it all. Everybody, just
can't.
hush, just hush. And they all have what I've enjoyed so far. The author is going through great pains here. In 52, I haven't really gotten to a plot for the story just yet. I can see kind of where it's going to go, but he's taking great pains to get into these people's lives and what they were doing when they actually died or when they became what they were. You know, the angel is like really angry. You know, she's apparently beautiful, and this Reaper is. They have this little thing going on.
Okay.
but every time they die, they do go see the archangels, Gabriel and Raphael, the two archangels, and they decide, all right, we're not going to go to heaven just yet. You're going to be a soldier, so you're going to do this. You're going to do that. So. But it's so far a lot of fun. Again, 52 pages in, but
Okay.
a lot of fun.
I look forward to hearing how it is.
If
when
we
you're
ever
done.
get into a format of either one of us choosing what we're going to be reading next, you're not going to like my choices.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I thought we were going to do that.
Well, we should do that.
We should do that.
Okay.
All right. Not this time.
Well,
Well,
that's
no,
okay.
I choose.
Good. Oh,
I'm choosing. We're both going to read 2 Crimson Smiles.
perfect. That's the first one. That's the first one.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. And really, go get 2 Crimson Smiles. It's out now. Take care. Thank you.